So let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of innovation. Just passing the team over here might finish out bright future we can't vanish. It's E2's five every day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan fans bounce on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and schemes. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. And this is the Shelbourne match preview. It is a massive game in the no, they don't call it that no more. In the Conference League, short for both teams, probably for different reasons. But yeah, here we go. I said we're going to do our best to try and find an opposition fan for all of these previews in Europe, and we have been able to find one. Credit to Matt Smith. Do you know the Everton fan, Matt Smith? It's his credit. Dunny, want to say thank you once again for obviously dedicating your time, and yeah, welcome to the channel.
Cheers, Rich. Yeah, nice one. Happy to be here. And as you said, yeah, I think it's a big game, but for possibly for different reasons for both clubs.
Absolutely. Just before we actually get into it, let me just address some of those in the comment. Big up the dog. He says, anyone know if Glasner's done his press conference? He did. I've got it in front of me. There's some interesting pointers. Doug was saying, massive congrats to Joel and Benji. Fantastic to see such talents being recognized. 100%. That was mentioned in the press conferences too, which is incredible. Interesting how Casey got called up instead of Marsh. No, absolutely. Drake Thomas and Rodney are acceptable backups. Big up Durfez. So yeah, obviously a lot of credit for the youth because it looks like they're coming up they've made the trip up for this game as well. You're gonna notice in a minute when I tell you there's two noticeable omissions.
Absenteeism. Yeah, okay. Well, happy to hear it. That's a good start.
Who else is here? Big up UK Pat. And who else is? Yeah, that's everyone there. And I'm sure Tim's in the chat somewhere as well. Tim, if you are there, big up to you as well. Right. Before we've got an agenda, but before we obviously go through the agenda, I just wanted to ask, like, what was your reaction, or what was the general consensus once Shelbourne had been drawn with Crystal Palace?
We thought it was perfect. We thought it was brilliant because obviously this is not our first time in Europe. We've been in Europe multiple times as league champions here, but we've never made it as far as a group stage or as a league phase, as they call it now, which is still hard to get your head around a bit. But so this is uncharted territory for us in many ways as well. So to get a team that everybody knows, to get a team with such a big following that's so close to Dublin, obviously was big. What we wanted, when you're getting the 5 opponents, is some kind of blend of, big names that could get bums on seats, make the club a bit of money, mixed with winnable games. So we were delighted to get Palace, and particularly to have you guys come in here. It means like, we had about 4,500-5,000, I think, at the last game against Drita of Kosovo, and this 10,000 stadium has been sold out now for basically since the tickets went on sale. So that's the kind of difference that having Palace has led to.
Sure, no, that's incredible. Tell us a bit about your club for our viewers who obviously will be in our Palace bubble. Tell us a bit about Shelbourne.
Well, Shells are 130 years old this year. So Shells, a Dublin club founded in the Ringsend area of Dublin in 1895. And we're the second most successful club in Ireland, behind Shamrock Rovers. We've got 14 league titles, the last of which we won in 2024, 10 cups over that 130 years. So, as I said, this is the first time we're in a league phase or a group stage, but we've had big European nights going way back. We've played in the new camp. We've played against Atletico Madrid. We played against Deportivo La Coruña, famously for us in 2004 when we had Wes Hoolahan and stuff in our team, and we came very, very close to making the Champions League group stage proper back then, which obviously would have been transformational from a team in Ireland. So yeah, so that's the pedigree of the club. You know, is very good. It's very high. It's very rich. But we've been in the doldrums really for the guts of the last 20 years. We spent more time than not in the first division. In Ireland, there's only two divisions: the Premier and the First. And the First is referred to as the graveyard. And we spent the guts of 15 years in that graveyard of the last 20 years. So it's really since 2021, when Damien Duff came in as manager and we were promoted out of the First Division, that we've started to sort of rise back to where we used to be. Damien Duff kept us up, got us to a cup final, got us into Europe the following year, and we won the league then in his third season. So it's that league win that has us here. And I suppose maybe for your viewers, Rich, it's probably important just to remember that the League of Ireland season is not the same calendar as your guys' season. So we've been on the go since February. Everyone else's season is finished, apart from ours and Shamrock Rovers, who are still in Europe. So our league season finished in November, and there's some teams that are already back in pre-season for next year, and we're still going with these European games to the end of December. So we've been 10 months into this season so far, and 6 months playing in Europe. Our first European game was in July, so it's been a long slog.
Yeah. On that, is Damien Duff still your current coach as well?
No, sorry, I was going to get to that. Yeah, so after 3 years of just incremental up and up and up, culminating with we literally won the league on the last day of 2024 away from home in Derry with 5 minutes left on the clock. Shamrock Rovers were going to win their 5th league title in a row, which would have been historic. It's never been done. We needed 1 goal to win our game, and it didn't matter what they did, and we got it in the 85th minute. So that was obviously incredible. I was up there, and there was only 300 away fans at that allowed in the Brandywell that night, and I was lucky to be one of them. An incredible way to win a game, never mind the league. And we were 18 years waiting since we'd won the last league in 2006. So it was 18 years between leagues. So that was incredible. And he stayed on obviously till the start of this season. But about halfway through, he walked away just before we began our European campaign in July. Actually, he walked away just before we were due to play Linfield, the champions of Northern Ireland. He walked out a week before the Linfield game. And Joey O'Brien, who you might remember from playing at West Ham and Bolton and stuff, he was his assistant manager, and he's since taken the reins. And Joey got us to the end of the season in the league, where we finished 3rd. So we qualified for Europe again for 2026, which, considering, Damien Duff was the golden goose, really. He was the man who came into the club, turned everything around. Obviously, he's a huge name in Ireland. He's had 100 caps for the country. He's won the Premier League with Chelsea. He's beloved in Ireland, and it was really, really tough when he left. But fair play to Joey O'Brien. He's managed to steady the ship. And so no Damien Duff, but Joey O'Brien.
Just one last thing on what you said earlier. So obviously your league season's finished. So how does it work regarding, do they just train just the week that they are ready to play, and then what happens?
It's very strange. Obviously, we've never had to do this before because we've never gotten this far. But I think what we've been doing, we and some of our fans were writing into the podcast that I do, saying that we went to do some warm weather training. So before we played Alkmaar in Holland, we went to Spain, to Marbella, I think, and we did like 6 or 7 days over there. We were kind of joking. I don't know if we were playing the catering staff at the hotel, or I don't know who we were playing, because we weren't playing any recognized outfit. And we ended up doing warm weather training for, minus temperatures in Alkmaar, and it's freezing cold here as well. So we've been kind of ducking and diving, I guess, trying to find opposition, trying to keep the players motivated, interested. But there's been big gaps between the league phase games, as you know yourself. So it's probably not been easy. There's probably been behind closed doors friendlies and stuff like that. But yeah, every other league team in Ireland, apart from Shamrock Rovers and ourselves, are out of season, and their players are away on holiday and stuff, ready to get back to pre-season. So it's far from ideal.
Absolutely. So you obviously you told us that you finished third. Like, how's your European campaign gone so far?
Well, I mean, yeah, we're still on the campaign from last year. As I said, we started as champions from 2024. We played Linfield. That was a big one. So, like, North versus South, the champions of the Northern Irish League against the champions of the Republic, and we beat them. We ended up playing Karabag then, who are playing tonight against Ajax, and obviously they played Chelsea recently and got a result, and they've gotten all the way through to the Champions League proper. So they're a serious outfit. So they beat us 4-0 on aggregate. And then we dropped into the Europa Conference, the Europa League, where we went to the double champions of Croatia, Rijeka, and we beat them over there. I don't know if you've ever seen. You should Google it. Anyone who hasn't seen it, the away end in Rijeka is literally a cage. It's a steel cage. So you've never seen the likes of it. Armed police walk you into the steel cage or like close the door behind you. It's like something from WWE or something that's crazy.
Oh my!
You can do whatever you like once you're in the cage, but you're like trapped in the cage. But we got a late goal to win 2-1 in Rijeka, which was one of the best moments I've ever had probably in football. Just the idea that we would go over there and beat them on their patch, but unfortunately they beat us on aggregate. Just as we were about to head into extra time back home in Dublin. So that dropped us back again, and we ended up playing Linfield the second time in a different competition. So we had another North-South derby thing, 4 games overall.
We're on the bus.
And
We're on the bus.
We ended up here.
So let me just mute him for a second. Yeah, JC, Father Channel, he's on. Was that the dart bus thingy that you're talking?
No, with the dart is in Luton. We're outside the airport.
Oh snap! Yeah, they're on the way to the game tomorrow night. So
We're on the proper bus now.
Don't go drinking in Temple Bar. It's too expensive.
I've never been so confused in my life. I was less confused in France because I can understand enough to know it's kind of English, but then I just lose it.
it's good to see that you're sober, though.
I mean,
just about.
I've only just touched down, so you never know.
Yeah. So you with the chairman and Dan, yeah?
Oh, one sec, they're telling us where we can and can't get off.
I'll let you go.
Chairman's here.
Yeah,
And then
It's too dark.
Dan and Joe are there. And then Matty Boy's over there.
oh, and you get a round of applause. I'll leave you lot to it.
We're too famous.
Get out of there.
The dangers of live TV, huh?
No, absolutely. I'm gutted to not be there. I'm a school teacher, so all the fixtures away from home are during term time.
Yeah, I'm a teacher as well, mate. So you're not flying tomorrow? I'm back. No.
Nah.
Yeah. School with a hangover is no fun.
Yeah.
It was great for me because I was laughing at other people. You know, in July when this 6-month European Odyssey of qualifications and so on began, I was off for the summer, so I could go day before, 2 days before, whatever I wanted. But now, you know, it's stretched so far that we went back. You know, I'm back to school since September. So now we're September, October, November, December. We're still in it, and yeah, it's getting harder and harder to find ways of getting to these fixtures. But
yeah, I'm hoping my luck gets in, whether it's a case of like in a knockout phase is another game. I believe the quarterfinal is during school break, and obviously the final. So fingers crossed.
But I think genuinely Palace must have, a realistic opportunity of going. I mean, why not go all the way?
Yeah, I mean, there is that expectation from our end to go all the way. However, we're very good at not taking our chances. So the 2 defeats we have had in this competition, AEK Larnaca and Strasbourg, is because we couldn't take our chances. I mean, the Strasbourg one, we missed 2 open goals and a 1-on-1, and they came back from a goal down. And with Larnaca, they had 1 shot in the game and they scored. So it sums it up. But moving on, like, what should we expect from your fans tomorrow night?
From the fans, well, I know there's a full stand behind the goal tifo display planned for the game from the boys at 1895 lads. And look, but I think before I say anything more on that, Rich, it's probably again worth pointing out this isn't our home stadium where the game's happening tomorrow. This is in Tallaght, so this is Shamrock Rovers Stadium, built by the local council there.
And that was due to the capacity of your stadium.
Our stadium is about 5.5 now. It's when it opens for next year. There's actually a part of the ground that's going to be reopened, but so we'll be over 6 next year. But so far, it's just below that. So, so Tallaght is a much newer build. We had a huge, and this is kind of the thing. I think it's important maybe to mention it because we had a huge battle with our previous board and chairman and so on about keeping our stadium, Talca Park. They are, without consulting the fans, the board agreed to sell the stadium and to move in and ground share with Bohemians, with the rival team up the road. And we formed a group called Save Talca Park, and we had to go against the local council. We had to go against our own board. We had to go, everybody thought that the race was run before we even got going. But it took about 3 years, but eventually we've only recently announced, the club has recently announced a 250-year lease on the ground at Talca, so it can finally now sort of be brought up to more modern spec. But it means that we've played all of our home games, even in Europe, in Talca Park prior to qualifying for the league phase, and now it doesn't meet that criteria, so we've had to play 2 of our 3 home games so far, and now obviously tomorrow will be our third and our final one, our home match in Tallaght. So the atmosphere there on the opening night was pretty good because it was the first one ever, and people were buzzing for that. The second one, the one against Streeted, I said, where the crowd kind of dropped off, it was against a team from Kosovo that the average person in the streets never heard of. The fact that our games, like League of Ireland games, are always Friday nights. People go out, have a beer, go to the match. It's 7:45 kickoff. The atmosphere is normally, as good as you'd expect with that, like 5,000-6,000 people in a small stadium with beers on board is always good vibes. But on a Thursday, on a school night, a lot of people driving to the matches in a ground that's not yours. We only go there. Our mentality is like that's their place. They're a Dublin rival. Like I said, they're the only club with more trophies than us. So to go there and try and make it our own, it doesn't feel right. And look, the board, our current board, who are infinitely better than who we had before, there's nothing they can do. Their hands are tied. It's either play there or play in the Aviva, which would be far too big. Although there was talk about maybe having this particular game in the Aviva, they decided not to do it in the end. But so look, the fans will be present. There's, as I said, it's a complete sellout. Our guys are going to be behind the goal, so and the displays and all are planned, and we're going to try and match you guys off the field if we can't match you on it, because obviously you guys have a great reputation when it comes to the ultras yourselves. But the only thing I would say is to bear in mind that we have about 6,000 or so Shells fans, and this is 10,000 people are coming. There's going to be a lot of Irish people coming to watch you guys. Probably there's going to be a lot of neutrals, I'd say, who come just to see a Premier League team in the flesh. Right. Our price point was very low for the 3 matches in Tallaght. I think it was €60 or something. So a lot of people just jumped on and bought the 3-match pack because they knew they'd get this game tomorrow against you guys, so they could see you. And some of them probably didn't even show up for the other games. So as ever with Irish football, you're fighting a little bit against the the Paddy Premiership guys, the lads who enjoy watching football on the telly rather than going to football regularly. So we'll be doing our bit, and I'd like to think that maybe we'll hold our end up off the field, even if we don't hold our end up on it.
Absolutely. What Shelbourne player do we need to look out for tomorrow?
Well, if the game goes as I think it probably will, it might be Wessel Spiel, the Dutch goalkeeper that we have. He's a big, handsome 6'7" Dutchman who we have on loan.
6'7".
Yeah, he's a big boy, and we have him on loan from a team from Minnesota in the MLS. But as I said, he's Dutch, and he was probably man of the match in Alkmaar, where we kept him scoreless for 70 minutes. He had a lot to do with that. So I think he'll probably be busy. But insofar as actually who are our best players and where we're best this season in particular, our midfield's actually gotten much better. We've got a guy called Jack Henry Francis who came through the Arsenal Academy and was a pro at Arsenal, was in some of their Champions League squads recently. We've got him on a permanent deal now. He's very, very tidy in the middle. We've got a guy called Harry Wood, who I absolutely love. He's the guy who scored that goal to win us the league in the last 5 minutes. He came from Hull. So we have him on a permanent now as well. And there's a bald Scottish man called Kerr McInroy, who's in the middle with them, who came from Kilmarnock, Celtic originally, then Kilmarnock, and we got him. We'd never heard of him really, but he was in with a shout for player of the season this year for sure. He's been really, really good. So we're actually probably at our strongest in that sort of three in the middle. The three central players in the middle with McInroy, Wood, and Jack Henry Francis. So I don't know if they'll match your lads, but that's where we've been strongest. We're a bit sort of square pegs and round holes at the back, unfortunately, and up front, you might have seen our results up to now. We've scored plenty in the league, but we have yet to score a single goal in the 4 matches we've played so far. So our fans would love to just see a goal go in, even if we don't win, just to see a goal. We travelled to Alkmaar. We missed a one-on-one. We missed an open goal in the game against Drita. We had one off the post on the opening night against Häcken from Sweden. So we've come very close, but we haven't even scored. So I can't really tell you to watch out for Meepo up front because he's been firing blanks. So maybe in the middle, someone is impressed. Yeah.
You'll be pleased to know that we kind of done ourselves as, obviously we're CPFC, which everyone knows as Crystal Palace Football Club. However, we also call ourselves Charity Professional Football Club. Because if there is a player who hasn't scored in a while, he's likely to score against us. And the fact that you've not scored a goal in the competition might mean you might score tomorrow night. Well,
I hope that's the case. Yeah, Meepo Odebeko, who plays up front, he's an Irish under-21 international previously. He literally missed an open goal into the net where the goal where the ultras are behind. I couldn't have had a better view of it. Very, very sober as I drove to the game on a Thursday. Open goal, defenders on the ground, the keeper's on the ground, and it didn't even hit the post. Straight wide. It's the worst miss I've ever seen live. So yeah, if he scores tomorrow, that's regardless of result, I think that'll make up for it. And frankly, I think a lot of Shells fans would probably, if you said that we get to celebrate a goal, we'd probably take that now.
Absolutely. Do you have any injuries or suspensions for this game?
We have a long-term injury to a guy called Sam Bone. He's a centre half. I was telling you that, as I said, it's a bit square pegs and round holes when it comes to our centre backs. Particularly, we've got our captain, who's a centre mid, really, Mark Hoyle, who's playing as one of the centre halves. This guy Sam Bone, who we got from Maidstone, which kind of tells you the sort of level of the type of player that we normally are in for. But so he's gone, and more probably importantly, really, a guy called James Norris, who we had on loan from Liverpool. He had a fantastic season for us at left wing back, and it started really well in the previous European game, and he gave away a free after about 10-11 minutes. when he miscontrolled the ball and kind of went to win it back. Ref gives a free, and VAR, which we don't have to deal with in the League of Ireland, thank God, got in his ear, and he had just given the free, and the free was about to be taken. Everyone was getting on with their lives, and it was deemed a red card. So not a yellow to a red, just a free to a red for going over the ball. So that was, as I said, that was the Drita game, and that means his whole conference campaign was up in smoke. Then 3-game ban he was given for that. So he's actually flown back and is back helping Liverpool out for their European games now as part of their squad. So he's a real miss because he's a young guy, 21, 22 years of age, come through the academy in Liverpool and ready for sort of man's football now. He's been fantastic for us. So in European games particularly, he's been excellent. So he's the real miss. Other than that, everybody's fit because we haven't been playing too many competitive games. We've been playing Spanish waiters in sort of behind closed doors matches. So yeah, other than James Norris, it's basically a full squad.
Okay, moving on. If you could sign one Palace player, who would it be and why?
I could probably throw a dart at a dartboard with your squad list on it, and I'd take any of them. But I suppose, having said that, we're light at the back. We probably need now, once these European games are finished, we probably need to go and sign 2 or 3 centre backs realistically for next year if we want to challenge for the league. So Mark Gahey obviously would be the number one. I think if we keep the goalie that we have and get a good centre back pairing in front of him, we'll have a chance next year. If we don't get the centre back thing sorted, it won't matter how good we are elsewhere. So yeah, Mark Gahey would be lovely. Although I think he might be slightly above our pay grade.
It's going to be slightly above our pay grade as well.
True enough.
Probably leaving on a free, unfortunately. But yeah, we've had to keep him this year. Liverpool sniffing around a bit too late in the transfer market, and yeah, I'm just glad we kept him. You know, he can go on a free with our blessing in the summer. Unless Liverpool decide to splash 50 million in January, then we've got a decision to make.
Yeah, well, I mean, and even talking about your ambitions for this competition, the European competition. I mean, if you keep him and keep the squad as it is, there's absolutely no reason why you guys can't be in the shake up, the last 4, the last 8, whatever. And once you're that far, anything can happen, you know.
Absolutely, and this is why tomorrow's game becomes massive, because it sounds mad. We're 18th, you know, and that's just because like we've lost games which we should have won. But if we beat you tomorrow and then we beat Cups, that's 12 points. That should see us in the top 8. Fingers crossed. It's wide open. I think there's like 4 points between 18th and like 2nd or something like that. So yeah.
And you guys don't need those extra games. Obviously, you guys are playing crazy amount of games. So you know the playoff or whatever, which is what we were targeting 7 points, and we've actually played. You know, we've played our best football probably against the more difficult teams, the higher ranked teams. Unfortunately, we come unstuck with last minute goals and stuff like this in against the teams we should have beaten, or the teams more on our level. So. Yeah, we need to beat you guys and win in Slovenia in a week's time to get to that 7, which we thought would get us to the playoff. But obviously, you guys have higher ambition to go through automatically. You certainly don't want to be playing any more games than you have to.
Absolutely not. From a Palace perspective, so Oliver Glasner had his press conference. I've got a load of notes. I'm going to skim through them. Number 1, Munoz is out. Daniel Munoz has been out. He's going to be out for a few weeks. He's going to undergo surgery. There was reports that his knee was giving him problems, so he's going to go for surgery. Also, Jean-Philippe Mateta has stayed at home.
Hey,
Glasner said that he needs rest, and he had a bit of a knee niggle as well. So there's no Munoz, there's no Mateta, there's no Ismail Assar who's had an injury as well. So those are 3 of our first teamers missing out. On Mateta, he should be back on Friday for training. We have got Man City at home on Sunday. Let's see what else is there. So expect Klein to play right wing back. who he had a decent game against Fulham the other day, actually. Now, Drake's Thomas has travelled with the squad along with Caden Rodney and Benji Casey, and they're our youth players. They've travelled with the squad, so that's great news that Glasgow's putting some trust in them. And he did mention to be in the top 8 would need more than 3 points. So, yeah, we've basically got to win the 2 games. You mentioned that you don't concede a lot. You play with a 3-5-2 low block. So that's something we have to bear in mind. And that is pretty much the main bits from a Palace perspective.
Yeah, there'd be some fans, probably not Shells fans particularly, but sort of, as I said, the sort of the neutrals or whatever who would be upset at some of those omissions, because they're the names that they'd, hope to have seen, I suppose. Yeah. But from a brass tacks perspective, from our point of view, that might make our defending a touch easier, than if you had the big guns out in completely. But we're under no illusion that it's going to be a very hard task for us. Like, we actually, as I said, like in Alkmaar, we kept them scoreless for 70 minutes. We missed a 1-on-1 90 seconds before they scored, and we were sat in, hit them on the break, and Mipo Adebeko was able to turn and make a chance for someone else on the counter. And they're the kind of ones, if you don't take them against high quality opposition like yourselves or Alkmaar, then you're not going to get anything from the game, and so it proved. But Glasner's right, we don't concede many yet. It's all been narrow games and narrow defeats. So hopefully it's competitive. I don't think anyone would want to sort of feel in the second half that it's like a charity game or a friendly or something like this. You know what I mean? And for the players, like you asked me about how the fans would feel, we know our campaign is coming to an end, and it is what it is. We'd love to have a performance to be proud of, and a goal to celebrate would be fantastic. But for the club, this is huge, because obviously a 10,000 sellout doesn't happen very regularly, and it's a chance to put ourselves sort of in the window of the nation here, because it's going to be live on telly on Premier Sports here. I've just as I said, I'm a teacher in school. There's kids asking me all the time about this game. They didn't care about any of the other 5 games in the league phase. They just wanted to talk about this game, what I thought the score was going to be, and who would play, and are we, how are we playing them? They just saw them on the TV against Liverpool or whatever. So it's a huge kind of shop window for our players as well. This is massive. So, like, I'm sure some of the defenders would be a bit upset maybe if Mateta's not there, because they like to sort of challenge themselves against the best. But on some level, it's a bigger game maybe for the club when it comes to money and opportunity and sort of shop window element, and for the players. Whereas as fans, look, we're going to be there regardless next season, and we know that realistically, the European opportunity we let slip by not beating the smaller teams when we had our chance.
Sure. Just before we get your score prediction, there have been a few questions for you in the chat.
Cool.
So Dave saying, how did the Republic's leagues compare to the North's leagues?
Well, as I said, we had a good sample size of that this year, where we ended up playing Linfield not once but twice over 2 separate ties in two European competitions, and we played Linfield 4 times, and they didn't beat us once. The best they got was a draw, and we beat them the other 3 times. So I think the Northern Irish League is improving, but as ever, it's quite. I don't think it's improving maybe at the level throughout the league as ours is. Like, our division was super competitive last year to where 7 or 8 teams that could have qualified for Europe right up until the last couple of weeks. Whereas in the North, it tends to be, not always, but it tends to be a couple of teams will pull away from everybody else, and the big clubs tend to dominate there. Whereas it's a bit more open in the league here, and I think professionalism here got the jump on professionals. There's still amateur teams in the top division up north. We've now got a fully professional Premier Division here, so we're a bit ahead. But that does on any given day, like there's not a huge amount between the top teams there and the top teams here. Not a huge amount.
Sure. I think this was related to your goalkeeper. You got a tall Peter Crouch. Does he do the robotic dance as well?
He's a bit more suave, I think. He's he carries it well. He doesn't look as spindly. But yeah, like he's saved a few penalties. He saved the penalty against Linfield. He saved the penalty against Karabakh. So he has that in his locker if we give away a penalty to get down low, even though he's very tall. So yeah, we're madly in love with him. Actually, he really helped turn our season around. We got that summer transfer window really right, where we got that Norris kid I was telling you about from Liverpool, and we got Spiel from the MLS, and they really helped us kick on. So I think he might outdo Crouchy with the natural sort of the natural rhythm.
That's fair. Big up to Mary, says here, another excellent preview. Thanks for all the context and background, Donny. Thank you as always, Rich, for finding an excellent supporter for the preview. Much appreciated. We really do try, because I mean, we talk a lot about Palace and stuff. So when we do these previews, we want to hear from other clubs, especially in this European venture that we're in, because we may never see each other again in a footballing context, you know?
Yeah.
So we definitely got to make them off for that. 100%. Durfus asks here, is there a Shelbourne player that we should buy?
Well, I was getting a bit worried when you were asking me who to look at, because that three in midfield that I mentioned, Jack Henry Francis, Harry Wood, and Kerr McEnroy, obviously they were all based in the UK, between Scotland and England originally. Now, Jack Henry Francis has represented Ireland. His parents are Irish, so but he went through the Arsenal Academy since he was a kid. So I'm sure those three could be tempted back, any of those three. So like Harry Wood for me is probably the most the one of those three who has the most flair, who might catch the eye more. Kerr McEnroy, you'll notice him because he's completely bald. But he and Jack Henry are a bit like a number 6. So a bit more winning the ball back, keeping it ticking over, not doing anything terribly flashy. Whereas Harry Wood likes to beat a player, has a trick, has loads of assists and goals in the league, and he's actually our top scorer. He actually got more than our striker did this year in goals, and way more assists than anybody as well. So Harry Wood, number 7, is probably the player I'd say to look out for. Whether he could make it at Palace, I'm not sure, but he's certainly the one that I would say if we were going to give you someone to have a look at on trial or something, I'd say have a look at Harry Wood.
Sure. And I think this might be the last question here. Big up Mr. Jeans Haas. Different code, but how are the Dubs doing?
The Dubs, so he's talking about Gaelic football or hurling, possibly, but I assume he's talking about Gaelic football. Little bit of a slump with the Dubs the last couple of years, but they have a new manager now, Ger Brennan, he's a former Dublin captain, who's actually a Shells fan, and his family are all Shells fans, which is cool. So there's a nice Shells link there. Mossy Quinn, who won the All Ireland with Dublin as well, is our new CEO. So there's quite a lot of links lately between Shelbourne and the Dublin GAA scene. So Dublin probably will be in the mix again next year, but it's been a quiet couple of years for the Dubs.
Fair. All right, last bit. What's your score prediction for tomorrow?
Well, some people, Rich, would who listen to the podcast that I do, the Here to See the Shelbourne pod, would accuse me of being pessimistic. I would try and counter by saying I'm often just realistic. But if past is prologue, if what we've seen is what will be, then we're not going to win. We're unlikely to score. But the deficit shouldn't be silly. When we went to Alkmaar, when we did our preview on the pod, I said I wanted to, could we put in the 3 things basically: a performance to be proud of, could we score a goal and to have something to celebrate? We brought 1,500 people to Alkmaar, incredible away in, and it would have been great to have a goal to celebrate. We almost had one, and the third was to keep the score respectable, which we managed. So I'd be kind of hoping for the same. Can we keep the score respectable? Can we score a goal? But my gut tells me it's unlikely. So I'm going to go 3-0 Palace. But hopefully that we keep it competitive into the second half. Maybe keep it, if it's 1-0 at halftime, 1-0 after an hour or something like that, and you get a couple of goals later on as we tire. I think I don't think anyone would be too unhappy from a Shelbourne persuasion.
Sure.
What about yourself?
I'm going to go 2-0 Palace, just because we're not the best against low blocks. We like to play in that transition. And also now the fact that there's no Mateta as well, that could play into your favor, because obviously we have to change how we play completely. Yeah. So, but I'll go 2-0 Palace.
It's a big pitch in Tala as well. Bigger than our home pitch would be. There's quite a lot of running there. It's wide. It's used for international underage games and stuff as well. So the surface is always good. So unfortunately, we won't have any divots or bobbles or muddy patches or whatever to try and slow you guys down. So I think the pitch would actually suit you, and a low block I think is what you'll see probably early and often. And we might guess we've had about 2 chances per game in all the ties, no matter how close or how, whether we were supposed to win or supposed to draw maybe, or like in Alkmaar supposed to get beaten. We've had chances and we've coughed them up. So I think we probably will have a chance or two maybe on the break, maybe from a set piece. But other than that, you're going to have a lot of the ball. So be prepared to have a pass count, probably 600, 700, 800 passes for Palace, I'd say.
Means nothing if you don't put the ball in the back of the net. Last few comments before we close. Mary saying that her dad's a big Palace fan, lives back home in Donegal now, supports Finn Harps, so seen a lot of Irish football, lower level than Shelbourne.
Yeah, Harps are in the first division for the last few years, but yeah, they're trying to move to a new stadium there, so hopefully Harps get that sorted soon. Yeah,
JC, who you just saw earlier in who's out there in Dublin, says the press is bad, bare injuries and sickness. Yeah, it's definitely gonna have an impact. What else was there? Mr. Jean saying it's time we worked out the low block. Tomorrow will tell us if we have. Yeah, massive question. That is a good point, to be honest. And lastly, I hope Glasgow's learned from the Larnaca game and has a way to unblock the low block. See, it's consistent on there. It's the low block. Hope we score early. We will miss. So, absolutely, I think we will. Once again, thanks again, Tony, for your time today. Use this time to obviously promote the podcast that you do as well.
Sure. Well, happy to come on, Rich. And as I said, for our club, this is it's a big moment in the spotlight, and happy to share it with you. Palace will be one of my earlier football memories. The 1990 FA Cup final, the 3-3 was my first FA Cup final that I remember watching. So the fact that you're now FA Cup champions, there's a bit of a cyclical thing. I've waited basically my whole life to come up against you, for you to actually be FA Cup champions, from remembering the 3-3 and the replay loss, obviously, back in 1990. But our pod's called Here to See the Shelbourne. I'm a co-host. We're the unofficial pod. So yeah, if anyone wants to pop in, when you guys have the off season, we're playing through this. We play through the summer. Obviously, London's only a small hop away. So if anyone wanted to come to Tolka Park, see an old stadium, the ground's 100 years old. As I said, we fought to save it for 3 years. Against the board, against the local council and everything like this. We're very proud of what we managed to do. So we get a lot of people from the UK who come to watch football, particularly when their seasons are over. So I wish Palace all the best, obviously, in the rest of the league and beyond the league phase here in Europe. But yeah, it would be great to have a bit of fraternity. And if any Palace fans wanted to wanted to come and have a look around Dublin and see Talca Park when we have league fixtures at the start of February and beyond, they'd be welcome with open arms. So thanks very much.
No, incredible. And just for clarification, where is that podcast? Is it Spotify? Is it multiple?
Yeah, sorry. Here to see the Shelbourne's on Spotify, iTunes, the whole lot. It's even on YouTube as well. But most of our listeners go through Spotify.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, listen, all the best for tomorrow's game, Danny. Guys, we should be live tomorrow from watch along. I'm contemplating it because the last watch along we did in Europe, we lost. So no, we should be there.
You should do it.
We should be there for tomorrow's watch along. You know what I'll do? If I do it, and if we then go behind, I'm shutting it down. But yeah, smash the like button, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and make sure to check out Here to See the Shelbourne on all audio platforms. Pleasure as always, Dunny. And
Cheers, Rich. Thanks again. See you again.
Up the palace.